Mr. Bilkey?
Here.
Ms. Brandt?
Here.
Mr. Molnar?
Here.
Ms. Tully?
Here.
Mr. Ventura?
Here.
Okay, at this time, I will ask that our city chaplain, Tom O'Brien, lead us in prayer, and then thereafter the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
With bowed heads, let us pray. Almighty God, we pray Thee to give guidance to our elected officials so they may work in a harmonious and honest manner. Give our elected officials the courage to work together for the common good of our community and to provide us with the services that are necessary for all of us to enjoy the fruits of our life. We ask Thee, Almighty God, that You watch over our police and fire personnel, for they are our first responders to crises that may arise any time, day or night. Keep them safe so at the end of the workday, they may return unharmed to their homes and loved ones. We further ask, Almighty God, that You keep a watchful eye over all our city employees, those civil servants who work hard for the benefit of our community. In closing, O God of mercy, we ask for Thy blessing and comfort for our neighbors who may be suffering from mental or physical disabilities. Share them and bring them Thy blessing of health and happiness. Amen. And now please face the flag and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaplain. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the minutes of our January 25th, 2018 meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted by the clerk of council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next item is public comments, and I see that Shirley, you're here to bring some public comment. Please step forward.
Shirley Coth, 902 Eileen Drive. I got a couple things. The one item that's on the agenda tonight about the satellite dishes. I know that with some of my rental properties that I've dealt with the satellite companies over the years. They will not come out. All right, now I don't know why, and take their equipment. They don't want it. They say you can trash it. They'll tell me. But sometimes it's, well, some of mine have been in the ground. I won't permit anything to be on a building. All right, but just dealing with them, they won't come and do it. And sometimes when they put it in the ground, it's put in so securely. One was cemented in, and we had to cut it off at the base, but then that requires having the proper tools to be able to do what you have to do. But one of the things that I think just saying that that you won't issue a permit for another one to go in if there's a disabled one there, maybe doesn't go far enough. Maybe when the permit's issued in the first place, that it is in that permit that that company agrees to take their satellite out when that service is discontinued. Because otherwise the homeowner's going to have to do it, unless their new service is willing to come out and take it out just so they can get their satellite in. But I was thinking about that maybe you need to
Add that
in the application process right up front.
Yeah, I mean, that is certainly our goal, and I was even thinking that maybe it's hard to hold a bond for that period of time unless you ask the company to give a general bond.
Yeah.
To do work in your community, and if then they violate it, we can pull the bond for the replacement, just like any other bond that any other contractor would have in the city. So if they violate the ordinance, that we say that the dish has to be taken down. Now, unfortunately, there's probably a lot of companies out there that are here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if they install it in a given year and we have a bond on them, I'm not sure that bond may be only good for, I'd have to check that, but it may be only good for that period, that 1 year period.
Yeah, I just know you're not going to get the company to do it. You might not get the one that's coming in to do it either, unless they can't do it, and the only way they can do it is to take down the other guys.
Well,
then they can police themselves.
yeah, well, what they ultimately do is, I'm sure you are aware that there's only 2 views at the south that they can set these. So they're gonna go to that south view, southwest view, and so they're gonna locate right next to the other one.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're gonna do.
And I had one do that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I was thinking about that when it was being discussed in there, so I wanted to mention that. And another thing, a while back I asked about having pending legislation and any legislation that's been passed or tabled or whatever it is, available online until such time as it's been codified. And I wondered if there's been any further discussion on doing that. I know that we can request it, but it'd be so much easier if, you could just go to a section on your website, pull it up and be able to read.
Are you talking about pending or actually passed legislation?
Well, both, because until it's codified, and it's in the codified ordinances that are already there.
Yeah. Well, once it's passed, it's law. So,
It's law, but if I can't see it,
yeah. I
It's hanging
agree.
right outside of it. It's always hanging, they're always hanging right outside.
well,
the
I know,
office.
but I mean, how many times? I don't want to stop in here when I want to look up at something. I mean, I think
I don't
in
think
today's
that should be a big
technology-
deal for the city to be able to do that. I think I can have our IT, Patrick over there, I see him putting his thumb up. I don't see a big issue with being able to put that and post that on our website, once it's
The minutes
passed.
are already up there.
Huh?
I said the minutes, the videos are already up
The
there.
the minutes and the
The
videos,
minutes, the
yeah.
videos, the agendas are all up there.
Okay.
So something like that, I think
So are
would be
you
helpful.
actually asking for like a PDF of the legislation to be put online?
No, not necessarily. I mean, whatever's easiest, I don't care. I wouldn't necessarily print it out, but I just want to, sometimes I'll look at these, because I'll look at the agenda, and as soon as it's on there, and I'll say, oh, what's that? And yes, I could get in my car, come down here at a time when she's here, and I could get it that way, but why? I just...
Well, I think that we can have Patrick put them up once they're passed.
Well, is there any way to do it even pending when they're brand new? I mean, during that whole cycle? And then when it's passed, until it's codified, then it's on there, then you can see the whole thing.
I don't
You're really
see-
going to give them the legislation 2 days before you see it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care what
Well,
you
we'll look
decide
in-
the starting point is, but...
We'll look into the pending. I see no reason not to put the past, or the issues that have already been passed in our
Mm-hmm.
law up online. That's easy. Because, at that point, they're already then becoming law of the city, so they should be posted.
Okay, but what's the issue with the pending?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to look into the
Okay,
pending.
well, if
Because we get it like,
2
they
days
get it
before-
like 2 days before.
2 days before they see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it may not be timely for you to see the pending, I guess is my point.
But it's timely for me to see the pending tonight.
Well,
Sure.
because it's already been, it's
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
distributing
All
at
right.
6 o'clock on Tuesday. I'm sending it over. It may not even be uploaded until,
Okay.
just before you come
Well,
back.
anything would be better than not having it at all, and, kind of think through the pros and cons of when to start
Sure,
that process and
modern
so forth.
technology gives us a lot of opportunity, no
Right.
question about it.
Okay. One other thing, there was some discussion, which I guess you'll talk about it later, but about having public access to council members prior to work sessions and things like that. And I hope I'm not being kind of, speaking ahead of anybody else talking about it. But I have a question I've said it a couple of times about work sessions. And I guess I don't know how you guys communicate with each other. I know you can't, huddle in a group somewhere of 2 or 3 and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm either missing something here, but I think it would be helpful if the work sessions also included not just talking about the agenda, but included time to talk about issues concerning the city that you may have heard from your neighbors, from somebody who may have called you. Maybe you're just thinking about it yourself. To have some sort of a time when you spend time talking about things that aren't necessarily pending legislation. Now, maybe I'm wrong there, but I I don't know. I just feel,
Depending on the issues that, and I'm not going to speak for council, because council certainly can speak for themselves, but I think if it's something that has been brought to the attention that has not been taken care of, I mean, they have a good mayor here, so when they bring something to my attention, I normally get it taken care of, so, and I'm not just patting myself on the back.
I was actually going
Why don't we
to
let the-
answer, like, that's what
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
If I hear of a problem, I either talk to the mayor, to the, to the service director.
Yeah, so if you're referring to those kinds of things, I mean, I get calls all the time from.
well, I'm
council
not referring to anything in particular. I just feel like, there should be more communication than there appears to be
Well, we're not
with you
hiding
as a
anything from
group.
you.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, generally, when you see these things on here, that's when it comes to fruition.
Right.
I mean, sure, I can call Vinny or Jan can call Jessica and have a conversation, that's fine. But when it comes to fruition is when you're seeing it, so we're not hiding anything from you. I mean, we try to stick to an agenda, because if we go back there and we just, I guess, be willy-nilly with everything, we would never have any organization, we never get anywhere. So we try to have everything onto the agenda that we're gonna present to the public, and that's how we handle it. So there's nothing being hidden from you.
Oh, no, I'm not, that wasn't even what I was
Well,
suggesting.
I think tonight was a great example. We've done this in the past. As the elder statesman here, we've always had the opportunity, when we're done with the agenda, we've always opened up the floor in the back room for any other items. And tonight was a prime example when Kevin brought up the idea about the parks.
Right.
So that's never been an issue. We've always had time to bring up issues that aren't part of the agenda, and we've always discussed them, so I don't see any issue
Okay, well,
with
maybe
it.
it's just me, or maybe I'm not explaining what I'm looking for, so I'll look for better ways of explaining it. But anyway, the one thing that came up, though, was doing the, some time for residents to talk to council people prior to work sessions. And the one concern I had there was, I think, Nick, one thing that you said is that if you had a long agenda, and, we would cut into that time, and I think if you don't make that a fixed time, it's not going to work. Because if you cut into what you have identified as time for the public to kind of chat with a council member, because you had too much to do on that night's agenda, you're going to discourage the whole idea, because they're not going to know, what week are you going to have time for them, and one week when aren't you? So just think about that.
Well,
That
keep
just-
in mind, you're talking about a half hour of time that, we're all open. If you look online, our names are there, our phone numbers are there, our email is there. It's not like,
No,
that's
I
the
know.
only half hour you could talk to, one of us. We're always there and open, and we do get calls and emails, so.
Right.
I understand what you're saying, but just know that that's not the only time you can talk to us. So, we're always
No,
open
I
and
understand.
available.
We can make it a half hour, or nights that we can't do it beforehand, maybe we can make it a half hour after.
Or that.
So there will be a chance for them to talk to us.
The other thing is, we're always around. I get phone calls all the time. As my kids always said, seriously, Mom, do you have to stand here and talk to people in the store? I'm going on. All of us are very available.
Okay,
Emails,
but all I'm
yeah.
saying is that if you set a time for something to be available,
Right,
you have to follow that.
yeah.
All right, you
Well,
can't
that's
cut
when
into
we're
it
here, but
because,
outside here,
but,
every one of us is available all the time.
okay, I'll think of a better way
You
to
know,
explain what I'm trying to say.
Shirley, this phone here, this technology puts you so close to the people, it's unbelievable.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I can't tell you how many emails I get and/or texts from individuals, and I'm able to respond and
Oh, yeah.
get their answer to them.
I know, what
right
would we
away.
do without that?
Yeah, what would
did
we do without it? I mean, back in the day, I never had, we didn't have quite this technology. I mean, we had phones, but we certainly didn't have emails on here and texts on here. and
Right,
all that other
right.
good stuff.
Okay, well, I just wanted to bring that up, and, if I think of a way of putting it, because I don't think I said it right. So, anyway, if I think of a way of saying it better, I'll do that. All right,
Thank you,
thanks.
Shirley. Thank you for your comments. Okay.
Before we move on, can I ask a couple questions? Sure. Directly related. Mark, what do other cities do about the satellite issue? I mean, do they have any ordinances or legislation that,
That goes beyond the permitting process and specifically regulates what we're discussing. I'm not sure, but I could definitely take a look at
I mean,
that.
that might help look into it. My other question was, there's a gentleman out here was looking for the agenda online today. The agenda's online once it's posted,
Right,
right?
when you click on the calendar, were you able to do this? You click on the calendar for the day, and the link comes right up. And
Good.
the fellow that I send it to, when I send out, I'm going on and on. When my council gets their, what they call their e-packet, the agenda, that same time goes to the man that takes care of our website calendar, and then he lets me know the next morning, yes, it's up. So sometimes it's not always up, but that's, after my click, it's out of my control. And so, but you just click on that day, and it shows the agenda.
And it's on the city's website. You didn't mention that, but,
Oh,
and I think
that was,
that shows the pending legislation, because it shows which reading it's on.
It shows exactly this.
But she was hoping to get the full.
I'm
so-
getting the, if I
She
wanna
wants
do
the whole
deeper,
e-packet.
Some
like it
communities
says-
do place the entire packet online,
gotcha.
like she's
Okay.
talking about.
Okay, well, all right, let's then move on to our pending legislation. The first item on the agenda is ordinance number 11, 2018.
Mayor, I move to offer ordinance number 11, 2018 for its second reading by title only.
an ordinance amending section 138102 and section 138103 regarding satellite earth stations.
You know, I just want to give some thought, Mark, on this. I think Shirley brings up some good points. If there were a way for us to, see, unfortunately what happens with these dishes, they don't come to the city each and every time they're going to apply a dish. They just go out there and throw them up. But if we were able to get to the dish companies, the major ones, and say, hey, look at, and the homeowners, let the homeowners know that if you're gonna have a dish installed, that you should probably put it in your agreement that in the event that there's a discontinuance of this dish, that either you as the homeowner or this company is responsible to come out and remove it. Now, I think that that's probably, because this is really what this is all about. We don't want to see multiple dishes on homes. But unfortunately, a lot of people just get on the phone call, just like calling the cable company, say, hey, I want cable, and they come out and they install it. I'm not sure how we get to that end.
Yeah, and we can certainly look at putting some more teeth in the application for the permit and the permit when it's issued. The thought process is, as Shirley mentioned, the satellite company coming in has the incentive to want to take the old one out so they can place and get service in a new customer. So that's the thought with the current legislation, but we can take a look to add some.
Well,
some more teeth.
maybe you put the onus on the new dish company to remove.
Right.
I think the other thing you look at is you can ask this company to put a permit in for every residence or business they do, or can you do it across the board? Because when you start doing permits per residence, you're going to start impacting the residents getting their service. Because they'll have to wait an extra time for a permit, so is there a way to do it that you've done it per company? You know, Spectrum, AT&T, you know, Dish, whoever, that they do it across the board.
I think the way the ordinance is currently drafted, that might be a little difficult because you have a kind of fact-specific analysis that you look at when you're granting the permit. So we'd have to make some additional changes to the language if we wanted to go that route.
I just think working at a company like this, that's how you normally do it. You do it across the board. Otherwise, you're going to be impacting your residents and getting service. Because they have to apply every time. And you
Well,
might have a whole street that decided with Spectrum doing their giant move across trying to get everybody, you know.
Well, it's just like when, obviously, all the phone companies deregulated.
But they weren't putting dishes on.
Well,
That's not the
it's,
same.
but it's very, it reminds me similarly
No, it's not.
where they come in and they're able to install new equipment or whatever in, like, my professional building. They come in and they just, because everybody can call anybody to install phones anymore. They come in and just start plopping in all this stuff, running wires without any, back in the day when it was Ohio Bell and those companies, they came in, they were very, very neat about how they did it. I mean, they came in and did a very neat installation. But I'm just bringing an analogy to the point, that's all.
It's my I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I think another issue is going to be, and I don't think we can deal with that, Mark, the people that already have this problem, there's not going to be a way to deal with that.
Yeah, it's prospective in nature, the
Right.
code section, yeah.
So you may have somebody tell you, well, you didn't make them take theirs out, and we're going to have a legitimate explanation for that.
You have a grandfather clause
Right.
whenever you start anything.
That being said, if there's a dish that has discontinued service, that would still prevent a new dish from going in, even though that's pre-existing, so.
But if they already have the two dishes up, they already have the new service up, and the old service is
Then-
left behind.
The new code would not affect that situation.
Correct.
That's correct.
The other thing is, some of the, I mean, I'm not gonna name them by name, but the satellite companies actually subcontract out. So it's not them putting it in, it's, Joe's satellite service. And that might be for 3, and then, Bill's satellite service might do, more service.
That's not true for everyone. It's not for we have DirecTV guys.
See, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to say DirecTV, but I've had people come in that are not working
Right.
directly with DirecTV, they're
So I think you need to
subcontracted.
look at what's other cities doing to do this. And then I seriously would consider more of a blanket. You get one, and then we have a method that if you don't take the old one out, we have a method to charge you if we're not going to do the work. They have to do the work because of the technicality.
I think it would be important to also look at our ordinances regarding home sales. I know that when I bought my home that there was a satellite dish on the roof, and I happened to have an electrician there, and I had him take down the satellite for me, but otherwise I would have been stuck with it, stuck having to pay someone to do it. So I think if we're going to require that people get rid of their satellites when they get a new satellite, I think it would also be a condition of selling a house that you can't leave a satellite dish there unless there's some kind of agreement with the new owner that they're going to be keeping
Well, that could be
service.
picked up on the point of sale.
Right. The kind of stuff that makes sure that you have windows and screens and paint
But
and
we-
everything.
We don't really look at that under the point of sale, but we may have to amend this to say that in the event of a point of sale, the
exterior.
question would be asked, and the answer to that would be is that likelihood is that the new people are not engaged with that DirecTV.
Yeah, right,
And likely will not use the same dish.
right. And I just think it would be easier on the new homeowner to not have to take care of it, so
Yeah.
we can make sure that the
I think
seller.
that's a good point, so. Okay. All right, let's move on then. Ordinance number 15.
For ordinance number 15, 2018, for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Specialized Construction, Inc. for the repair of various streets of the, relative to the 2018 road program.
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 15, 2018.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, are there any questions, comments? Joe, you want to say anything about, the process where we went through the 2 bids, the pricing on it?
Yeah, I can. We chatted about it a little bit in the work session as well. 2 bids came in. A low bid by Specialized Construction, again, same as last year. Their bid was reasonably below the engineer's estimate. The second bid was a little bit over the engineer's estimate. So naturally, our recommendation is to go with Specialized Construction again. They've did the road program here in 2017, also back in 2015, and I think their record and their results speak for themselves. So.
And they were under the engineer's estimate, and so you got to be, like, pretty proud, right?
Yeah, we're happy with the pricing, absolutely.
All All right, thanks. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda would be ordinance number 16.
I move to offer ordinance number 16, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried.
I'm sorry, who was the second on that?
Me. Nick.
Thanks. An ordinance, amending codified ordinance, chapter 182, City of Macedonia's income tax ordinance.
No, I apologize. This was supposed to stay at first read.
No, it was supposed to be 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I
we
haven't-
just let the re under, didn't we?
You're gonna do it through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to pass it.
We're going to pass it, and then we're going to have to
We're
redo it.
passing it tonight.
We're gonna come back with the other ones if needed.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said, Mark?
Yes.
Well, my thought was to leave it at first read for tonight, see what happens with the preliminary injunction hearing next week. I think regardless of whether we pass it tonight or 2 weeks from now, we are gonna have to come back when the litigation is completed and amend it again. But I would leave it at first read tonight so we can make some adjustments depending what happens next week if necessary. And then the next meeting, we can pass it in full.
Okay, you want to amend your motion then to only do a first reading?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to amend my motion to only do a first read in ordinance number 16, 2018.
We have a,
We don't need a second. And I read it.
you read, okay.
We're good.
You're on top of that. Okay, next ordinance is 17.
Mayor, I would move to offer ordinance 17, 2018 for its first reading only, by title only.
An ordinance providing for the review of the charter by the Charter Review Commission, fixing its duties and establishing a procedure for the review.
Okay, next item on the agenda is ordinance number 18.
Mayor, I move to offer ordinance number 18, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Brian Fleming to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mayor, I move to pass into law ordinance number 18, 2018.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Tim, this individual is currently on our department,
Yes,
and this is after his probationary period.
yes. All of the firefighters, either full-time or part-time.
So it's not that these are new appointments. These are existing employees that
Yes.
have gone through their probationary period
Yes,
and are now being,
removed.
they've completed that probationary period, so we're installing them as full-time employees.
Full-time and part-time.
Okay,
He's full-time, but some of them are
Okay.
part-time.
very good. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. I just wanted to make clarification on that so that people didn't think we were out hiring new. We're just confirming what we have.
Yes.
Okay, next item is ordinance number 19.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 19, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Brian Friend to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, you've heard the reading?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 19, 2018, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. Next item on the agenda then would be 20.
Offer ordinance 20, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Matthew Harmon to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 20, 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Again, are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 21.
I move to offer ordinance number 21, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Matthew Maloney to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Move that we pass and post ordinance number 21, 2018 to the same according to law.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 22.
Mayor, I move to offer ordinance 22, 2018, for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Here we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Matthew Snowdon to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
I move to adopt the ordinance number 22-2018 and post the same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 23.
Mayor, I move to offer ordinance number 23, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
I offer
I know-
pass.
Oh, I was just going to
Sorry.
read it. An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of James Garvey to the position of part-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mayor, I offer to pass and post this ordinance according to law, the same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 24.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 24, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Charles Riley to the position of part-time firefighter paramedic.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 24, 2018, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Again, are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 25.
Offer ordinance 25, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Maxwell, Batcher to the position of full-time police officer.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Move we pass and post according to law ordinance 25, 2018.
Second.
We
Second.
have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the next item on the agenda is 26.
Mr. Mayor, I move to offer ordinance number 26, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by
Second.
title only.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Jay Hathaway to the position of full-time police officer.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
I move that we pass and post ordinance number 26, 2018 to the same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 27.
Mayor, I move to offer ordinance number 27, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
I move, to-
An ordinance confirming the final appointment by the mayor of Stephen Atwell to the position of part-time corrections officer.
You've heard the reading.
okay, Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance 27, 2018 and post the same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Next item on the agenda would be ordinance number 28.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 28, 2018 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment of the mayor of Leon Harvin to the position of part-time corrections officer.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 28, 2018, please.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Are there any other motions or other legislative actions by council at this time?
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to designate Clerk of Council Josephine Arcisi to attend on behalf of Council Member Jan Tully, a free public record and sunshine law seminar sponsored by the Auditor of State on Friday, February 16th, 2018.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a
Sorry.
motion, a second. Are you willing to go?
My umpteenth one? Sure,
She better not change her mind.
sure.
She could probably give it.
Yeah, that's true.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
My pleasure.
The motion is carried.
You could probably give that class.
You know, just for explanation, the auditors require this motion, just so you know, because they look.
Yeah, I've never saw that before, that we would do that, so that's
Yeah,
interesting.
no, the auditors require a motion.
That's why it took me a little bit to ask you if you were willing.
Yeah,
to
no,
go.
no, no, it's already been
I didn't want
discussed,
to,
sir.
I didn't want to know if somebody was forcing it.
It's already been discussed.
Okay. Do you have any correspondence?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. Mayor's report, I just want to indicate that Mayor's Court for the month of January brought in $37,301. Also wanted to give you an update on the locker room expansion at the rec center. We have started to price out all the materials. Actually just received them today, and it looks like the numbers are pretty good, at least at this time. I'm still waiting. This is for the brick and mortar part of it, so we need to do that reappropriation and get ready to put the orders in, because just the sandstone alone is going to take 8 weeks to get here. So that was a $31,000 figure for the sandstone. So we need to get that order in so that we can get it here to be ready as soon as the weather breaks, so that we can start running the foundation and the block work. So we're not going to let any grass grow under our feet under this. We're going to move very quickly and swiftly, and unfortunately for me, I'm going to be babysitting that job quite a bit, but I'm willing to do that. And that's pretty much I have for Mayor's report, at least at this point. Committee reports, do we have any committee reports?
Parks and Recs Commission met last night for the first time this year. We had new member Jeremy D. Benedictus. I think it was a really great meeting. I think it was really productive. We all had a lot of stuff to say. The new marketing director was there, and the, what's Alan's position?
Recreation coordinator.
The recreation coordinator was there. Talked about a lot of different stuff. There is an opening on the commission, and I assume we'll be publicizing that to get that filled. But if anyone is interested in joining the Parks and Rec Commission, you can talk to the mayor or Angela. And that's all I have to say. She'll have more stuff to say.
Okay, thank you.
We set up the first financial meeting of the year on March 1st, 6:30 here at the Council Caucus.
Okay. Okay, any other committee reports? Hearing none, then we'll move on to the department reports. John?
Thank you, Mayor. As many of you probably are already aware, with the news of the salt shortage throughout the state of Ohio communities, we are one of them as well. It's not the fault of the city. We have an ample order that has been placed out there. It's just that the supplier is behind with the demand and cannot get enough out to everyone. We are low right now, and we will be going to a sensible salt practice because of what's to come tonight and through the weekend, looking at freezing rains. So we'll be treating the main roads and hills, intersections, and curves throughout the developments only during the snow event. We will be utilizing our brine tank as well, and we've even pre-treated some of our salt with our brine solution to put down on the first application to help with ice buildup on the road pavement. And other than that, we will be out there plowing as snow comes down, and once it's done, we will go to a light coating of salt on the mains, hills, and intersections in the developments only until we can get through this and get our supplies back up.
Have they indicated when they thought that they would be up to snuff?
No, they're looking at 2-week lead time, but they reduced the allocation of the haulers, what they're allowed to pull out each day, down, well, it's only 800 ton per day that they're allowed to take out of the mine right now. And that's to give to all of the communities being supplied. It's not just to us. Today, we received about 100 ton, and that was it. And then they're trying to disperse throughout the other communities that need it.
And how many ton do we go through on a given snow?
In a given snowstorm, I mean, that varies. One time through the city of salting everything, we can go through roughly about 25 ton.
So we're good for at least 4 shots of snow.
But that's only one pass in the snow. That's if this is consistent and we made 4 passes through that city, with what's going to happen tonight, we would be out, so we cannot do that. We have to stretch ourselves out there this weekend.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Sure.
There's been a lot of talk, I've seen on social media and things like that, and they compared us, unfortunately, to Northfield, which is 1 square mile compared to us. How many lane miles are we?
Roughly about 142 lane miles, I believe it is.
So I just wanted to put it out there that, you know, these guys are doing the best they can with the resources we have. It's difficult to compare us to a town like Northfield that's 1 square mile, whereas we're, what, 12, 11, somewhere in there?
Yeah, around 12.
So these guys are doing the best they can. I know I even saw something saying that we didn't touch our side streets. Totally not true. We have GPS to track those things, and these guys are out there doing their job. And, you know, I appreciate what they're doing, and you gotta remember, these guys are in a truck for a lot of hours. It's a lot of difficult work, so I think we need to give them a little bit of respect and thank you for what they're doing, and I thank you.
Well, each of the trucks consists of, the lowest route is 22 lane miles, and our largest route is 28 lane miles, and that's just for one truck to do. So that's almost a straight shot to downtown. Think about that way of plowing a road. So what's it be equivalent to?
And if you have Nixle, it already came about the salt shortage, so take a look at your Nixle, it's already out there.
Okay, great. Okay, anything else, John?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, Joe?
Sure, thanks, Mayor. With the passage of the resolution tonight for the road program, we will begin having the contract signed tomorrow so that we can lock in with Specialized Construction as soon as possible. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, and the other bids will be open,
Yeah, we haven't set a date for opening the rest of the bids, but we will do that very soon, certainly, for both the remainder of the road program and for the 2 roads with the water main improvements.
okay, great. Okay, Angela?
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Center started out with a very strong beginning to the new year. We just closed out our January numbers. So for the month of January, our membership revenue totaled over just about $96,000, which is $35,000 more than January of last year. And it is more than a quarter of our total revenue that we collected for memberships alone for the entire 2017 year. So we're very excited about that. We have a lot of things that we're doing that we're trying to keep that momentum going strong. I think absolutely, without a doubt, the inclusion of group fitness classes with our memberships and our monthly rates that are now available have significantly contributed to this in a positive way. So we're gonna keep going strong and try and keep that trend going throughout the year. Some upcoming programs: we have a dive-in movie scheduled for Friday, February 23rd from 7 to 9. So people can come into our pool, they can view a movie. We're showing Finding Dory. People can view from the pool deck, and they can also view from the pool itself, and we do allow some flotation devices and rafts, inner tubes for that type of program. And then our spring registration program is currently open for kids 6 through 15. And registration for that concludes on March 1st. So you have just a little under a month to come in and sign up if you're interested in our youth spring soccer program. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a real quick comment, is this that we're working on the 2017 water maintenance and expansion invoices. So those should be coming out by March. So that's all I have right now.
Mayor, with the snow, I'd like to just remind everybody, don't let their snow plowers plow in their fire hydrants. We need quick access to the fire hydrants. So if you see one, dig it out for us so that we can get to them. And also your house addresses. Heavy snow comes down, covers up your house address. It can cut off, delay us, seconds, and that's pretty important. So make sure those things are visible. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good reminder to let residents know not only about the hydrants, but also their addresses, because they're required to have their addresses posted either in their mailbox or on their home. And it's hard to find a place when you don't have a good address, or it's not out of the street. So when they're calling for police or calling for fire and they get there, they might pass it up because they don't see the address. So we obviously will, through zoning, kind of continue to do that, especially at point of sales and what have you. Absolutely. John?
No report, Mayor.
Sure. All right. Mark, do you have anything?
No, I'll just mention we're close to finalizing the ballot language for the 1.25% levy issue. So once we have that, I'll send it out.
Okay. Yeah, it's looked pretty simplified.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Any unfinished business? Any new business?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to just let the residents know that Jessica Brand and I will be available at 6:30 to talk to any residents that would like to speak with us before we go into work session. And that would be at the next regular council meeting on Thursday, February 22nd.
Very good. Okay. Any other new business? A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you for coming out. Drive carefully.